Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. August 8th. Harry, man, this is flying. 2026. We are sponsored by Capital Mortgage Funding, and I'm Harvey Freed. To my right, Harry Glantz.
God, summer's going by too quick, Harv. You know what happens after summer? We have the fall and then the dreaded winter here in Michigan. But we've had an awesome summer. People, Becky's here. She's going to tell us all about up north. She's been going up there a lot. Also traveling around the country. We're going to talk about the housing market. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, interest rates, what's going on. But Harvey, take it away.
I'll take it away with Stephanie Janiga, of course, joins us here. Keller Williams, all around Southeast Michigan. And, of course, Becky's right over here. Becky came in. Hey, it's always great to see you, Beck.
Yeah, I mean, you act like I'm a phantom that that breezes in and breezes out. What is going on, everybody?
You're covering for me next Saturday.
Yeah,
sure.
I'll be on the 1s and 2s next Saturday for sure. We're going to go for a ride.
Tigers took it on the chin last night. I woke up for the bad news, 5-2. We'll get into sports at 9 o'clock.
So
First, we do this mortgage real estate
I walked
thing
in
here.
with Stoney today, and I said to him, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Stone here, the godfather of all sports radio here in Metropolitan Detroit. I was walking in with him, and I said, Tigers lost. You know what he said to me?
Huh?
Said something very prophetic. Harry, they're not going to win every game.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to.
We're just spoiled because they're so close.
Did you clench your pearls when he said that?
They're so close. They're so close. We want to believe they're going to make the playoffs. And every game is extremely important. Mm-hmm. And he's right. They're not going to win every game. You can't win every game. And you can't win for every buyer, Stephanie, can you?
Nope, not at all.
You can't win for every
buyer. We're going to put our best foot forward.
Yeah, we try. We try every game to win for our clients. But sometimes, you just you can't win every time.
There's a hidden cost of waiting. What's one of the themes that we always talk about? Some families have been holding off, or some individuals thinking, wait a minute, I'm waiting for these rates to drop. Mortgage rates drop 1% tomorrow. Well, then you would have the added on competition between all those buyers out there. So, what is going on here? 2026, just in almost the middle of August. What do you see in the marketplace moving forward, Steph, for 2026?
Well, right now, you brought up a good point, though. People are holding off right now because of interest rates and not wanting to kind of move forward. But if they hold off too long, interest rates drop. What happens next? Prices go up. So they're better off buying right now, waiting for rates to drop, refinancing then. But right now, things are pretty, I'm going to say fairly stable. Like there are certain areas that are appreciating, certain areas that are dipping a little bit. But for the most part, I think things are fairly just kind of stable right now. Inventory's up a little bit, which has eased things for the buyers. That
More
makes
choices.
makes things a lot nicer.
Yeah, I think that some of the pockets are it's city specific, right? Because what I'm seeing is you have certain cities where like they are going very, very quickly. You have other ones where they're sitting on the market a little bit longer. Like if you look at my pipeline right now, it's like an eclectic different, like it's like all over the place. It's refinances, it's first time buyers, it's first-time buyers with concessions. It's new construction. It is
down payments, renovations.
Yes,
I'm filling in.
Yeah, it's like all the things, right? So it's not just this market isn't just one thing. I do agree with you there, and you have to be able to service each individual client and their individual needs. And I had a meeting with a newer agent. I think it was on Wednesday. Either way, the day doesn't matter. But we were talking about the market like this, and he said, "Well, what do you think the rates would need to be in order to really kind of like open up the floodgates?" And I said, "Well," he's like, "I listen to you guys on the radio." Every week. So what's up, Scott? But I said, we talked about high fives. If the market went to the high fives, it would kind of open up the floodgates a little bit more. But at the same time, we're still in this market in Michigan where you need to focus on locking in the price point of the home, not the interest rate. Because the rates are going to be moving at some point in time. They've been pretty steady, going up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit. But they're going to be, everyone's digesting the fact that we're in the sixes. And what is funny, as we talk about, it was a year and a half ago that we were like, the rates are in the sevens. It's going to be okay, right? So here we are, and people are starting to complain about the sixes, right? So when is enough enough? It's never going to be enough. You're always going to have something to say about something.
That's the way it is right now. Rates are 6.6, 6.7 right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, Stephanie, it's just a whole lot of stability. Mm-hmm. And that's a good word for it. Everything's stable right now. Rates are not high because they're in this over 6.5 range. If you want to talk about some serious movement, if you put a 5, and it could be 5.99. Okay, if you put a 5 in front, then it will spur a lot of activity. But here's the problem: when you talk about activity, you'll get a lot of refinance activity, which really never stopped for us. But you'll get a ton of refinance activity. The however is that all of a sudden people are going to want to jump in the purchase market. And they're just be waiting in line behind everybody that's in it now already. So really, and there's an article I want to bring up, the housing market right now is defying expectations, even with the perception of higher mortgage rates. You want to know why? Because rates aren't really that high. So people are out there in mass, like Becky said. Pipelines are full right now. You still, in this area, certain areas, there are pockets that you can't find a house.
Well,
Okay, you can't find a house.
Define high, right? What is high? Higher
Right.
interest rates in comparison to what? This time last year? This time 2 years ago? Everything is going to be considered high if we're not talking 2020, right? And that's just the reality, right? So that's just a good headline to get people to feel like, it's doomsday again because, bad press is still good press at the same time.
If you want to talk about the end of 23 and going into 24, rates were in the 7s.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
so you're talking about right now, if you're in the mid, trending to the mid 6s, how is that high? So anyways, we're talking about 38 out of 50 major cities in the United States. They're saying that prices are coming down 2 to 3%. Well, in our area, we haven't seen that.
We're not feeling it.
We are not feeling that. So if you want to say, we always kind of follow what the market is. The East Coast and the West Coast lead the market. The Midwest is really the slowest to adapt.
Yes.
In a market, whether prices go higher or lower, it doesn't matter. But right now, the word is stability. It's stable right now. It's very stable. And all you have to do is talk to a lot of your buyers, prospective buyers. They can't find a house.
Yeah, I do say like as far as like the market trends, it comes from the bottom outside up, right? So that's why we are the last to kind of feel a little bit what's happening. So the market in Florida is completely different, but they've also had a lot of hurricanes. The insurance costs are going through the roof, right? That's really like the dirty little secret that people we're not talking about enough is homeowners insurance cost is almost getting to a point where it's getting more difficult to qualify people with homeowners insurance. So as soon as I'm pre-approving someone, I'm telling them, start calling around, get a hypothetical. What is it going to cost for you to insure this $150,000 house, this $100,000 house, this $200,000 house? Because I just saw a quote for someone that I'm refinancing because I noticed that their homeowner's insurance was very high. And the cheapest they could find was $2,500. And it was a $180,000 house.
It's a little heavy for that.
We're in Dearborn Heights, and, credit is mid to high 7s. Or like mid to high 6s, I mean to say. So, I don't know if they had previous claims. I mean, because there's insurance scores, but that is an extra over $200 a month. That's now throwing my DTI over on a self-employed client. And that's something that we have to now readjust and get that figured out.
I might have a number for you, by the way, on that.
Listen, send them.
And throw also.
If you're a good insurance agent, let me know.
Yeah, definitely call us up. HOAs too. Let's throw those in there, Beck, because the numbers are skewed a little bit in Florida. As so many folks said, wait a minute, I'm out of here. I'm selling. High property taxes, the insurance bit, and then more importantly, these HOAs on these older buildings that need renovations. They need to be new roofs
HOAs and condo associations down in Florida because of what happened in the collapse there. They're just through the roof, and they're going to have to reinforce the concrete. They're doing a lot of repairs. So you're seeing this, and that's why the condo association dues in Florida have gone up significantly.
Yeah, even like our good friend, like the Woodbecks, right? They have a place in.
They're near me.
Well, yeah, they're in
me.
Sarasota, but like they're victim. Their subdivision was part of like the whatever happened the hurricane there, and like some of those condos were obliterated, like just like killed. They were a little bit further back, so their damage wasn't as bad, but it affects everything. Right now, their insurance costs are going up because of the renovations that the whole entire complex has to do. So it's just those are the deep dive conversations that it's not just we're not here turning keys for people, right? We're involved with the transactions. Even after they purchase. And I know you are the same with your clients, right? It's not just a matter of like, I put you in a house and now I'm done. They're still contacting us about questions about homeowners insurance. Like if there was something wrong on the seller's disclosure. I mean, we are involved. And then when they get involved and they want to buy another house, they're still contacting us because it's a part of the milestone moments and we're part of their family and we're trying to build legacy for them.
And they need information throughout the way.
Yes.
Knowing what's going on with their property.
Yeah, it's about being a trusted advisor just now, middle, and in the future, always.
Always following those local trends also. So anyways, I might be going up north next. I don't want to announce that, but I just did. I'm going up north, so I checked out the place. And these folks
I don't want you to know I'm going, but I'm going.
I won't say any names. They're exactly where I'm going.
Hi, everybody.
Right.
Harvey Freed's going up
I'm
north.
not. I might be. I haven't been up north in a long time. And I'm going up to Harbor Springs, that area. I checked out the unit. This place was just bought, like I think a year and a half ago. It's worth $100,000 more.
Yeah.
So talk about the wealth that can be created there. Again, you first timers, you're going to win. If you want to be a first time home buyer, you don't want to pay the rent. The rent's through the roof, folks. Stop doing that. Give us a call here, 248-539-9797. It's free to be pre-approved and to have some confidence behind you and get all those things behind you.
Well, it also doesn't
Homes are
cost anything to
appreciated.
get good advice. All you have to do is
Make a
create your
call.
team. You can create a team of people with a realtor, an accountant, a mortgage person, a financial planner, and it will cost you nothing. And if you can't create your own team at no cost, that's where you're going to get all the great advice.
Yeah.
All right. That's where you're going to get the great advice. And, like we talk about all the time, I still talk to people. I have a team, and we talk every single day about certain things in different industries. And, there's a saying, you don't know what you don't know. Other people know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So you better go ahead and call your team.
Yes. You know how I feel about that. That means you're an educated person.
That's
when
right.
When you can go to someone that knows something that you don't know. It doesn't, degrees are great, but if you have an expert in a certain particular field and you can go to them and get advised by them, why would you not tap into that? There's a lot of individuals with that scarcity mindset, and they're afraid to have the conversation because maybe they're a little bit self-conscious because they don't know everything. And why would you, right? Like if we're in the room and I'm the smartest person, I need to get out of it and find a different
Go
room
find
for sure.
someone else. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
248-539-9797. Again, we're going to take your calls all morning long here. Stephanie Janiga joins us. Keller Williams. She's got a lot to add here. We're going to talk about some buyers and sellers, some real life stories out there. Keep here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back. All righty, welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. We are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker, powered by CMG Home Loans. NMLS 1820, equal housing lender. You can always get in touch with any of us here in the studio. Of course, Stephanie Janiga, Keller Williams joins us. And I got Harry to my right, Becky over here to my left. Lots of interesting information that we can share with you to really give you that confidence. And one of the things out there, you got a whole bunch of topics, Steph. Go roll with one of your topics out there, what you got going on.
You know, something right now, the market has shifted a little bit. So we're seeing the days on the market has increased a little bit. Certain properties are sitting around. We're seeing price reductions here and there. And we didn't have that a couple years ago. A few years ago, I was like, oh, what do you want for your property? Oh, 400,000. I'm like, let's price it at 450. And then you get 500. So,
Wow.
you know, we were getting crazy, $50,000, $100,000 offers above asking price. And now we're seeing the market has tightened up. So properties are sitting around a little bit. So when it comes to pricing, you really need to be on the ball with pricing when you first hit the market. So now these people that are starting to play around a little bit and like, oh, I see this house down the street that sold for X amount pretty high. They go in at that number. They're sitting around. Now you're chasing the market down. And it's like the kiss of death right there. And honestly, everybody knows once your house is sitting on the market for like 10 or more days, it's sitting there.
It's so unnormal.
It's not flying off.
So right now, would you say the action that you're getting in the first week after you put it on the market, you list it, normally people do it on a Thursday to get the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday open house. After the first weekend, going into the second weekend, you should theoretically have a lot of showings and then maybe a couple offers. If you don't, Stephanie, isn't that an indication that maybe the price is too high?
Yes. Yep. And people wait too long to react. They're like, oh, let's give it another week or two. No, now you just made that a stale listing and everybody knows it's sitting around. So what do I tell my buyers? I tell my buyers, hey, if you see that this house has been up for, 20 days on the market, it's not flying off the market. It should be negotiable. You should have a little bit of playroom there.
Okay.
So, which kind of leads into the next thing. There is a little more playroom with negotiating now on the buyer's end. They've got a little more, more leeway.
Like what's what we're talking about. Like the market's not just one thing. So when you're saying, so like the, like the typical, like when you're what you're saying is like that is a normal response to with a seasoned, real estate agent. The house is sitting, let's go in a little bit lower, right? But then at the same time, the buyers think that you can go into any house in that scenario. Well, they want 375, so I'm going to offer them 360. And I'm going to give you an example. I have a first-time buyer. They're clients of mine. The house was listed at 375, and they said to me out loud, well, I think we're going to try to go in at 360. And I said, okay, well, I'm not their real estate agent, but my first response was, have we consulted with your real estate agent?
Right, based on what?
And you want concessions on top of that, right? So then they went in at so now we renegotiated. We went to 375 with like a 1% concession because that was a little bit more realistic based off what the market was doing in that area. But you have to be with a professional that understands that like just because the house is sitting there for 30 days doesn't mean that the house necessarily is 10 grand over asking.
True, because our days on the market have gone up. Inventory's gone up a little bit. So where we got used to everything flying off in 7 days, so now it's in our head that, it's overpriced in 2 weeks, if it's been sitting there for 2 weeks, but not necessarily.
But you don't know how many offers that particular property had. Maybe the seller was they're sticking to their guns and they didn't want to negotiate. So maybe not anything related to the market, because we always say the market is the market. The seller might just be sticking to their guns and saying they want their price when you're saying to them, hey, look, this is a great offer. All right. It really is a great offer. So you maybe should consider this offer. And they're saying no. So sometimes the people that put up, the sellers are dictating what they want for their own specific house rather than what you're telling them. So, I mean, I've run into a lot of situations where I've seen houses in the same neighborhood. Okay. They'll sell quickly. They'll sell relatively for the same price. Okay. But a seller won't want to sell their house for that price because they think they should get more than what the market dictated in their area.
And I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, and I'm going to pull you in on this, that is the whole reason why you're hiring a professional. Is for them to advise you,
right?
You
have to be realistic.
Yeah, so how are you handling those?
Like,
so if let's just say you have that exact seller, okay, and you know that the market is sitting, let's just say at 300,000, right, all day long, and now it was a perfect price. that would actually drive higher offers, right? And they're like, nope, you're going to list this at 350. Do you like back away from the listing? Do you say, okay, let's try it? Like how do you handle that?
Oh, I'm going to really kind of dive into that conversation with them and show them the stats, show them what happens there. You need to go in at 300,000. You're going to get that bidding war then.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how you play the game a little bit more now, is being really strategic about it. We're not going to go up at 350 and maybe get an offer at 330 or whatever, 320
You're not
or
doing
something.
that dance.
Yeah.
No.
You're going to walk in like this, right? You're going to look at, I've got 5 houses right here that sold for 300. Look, 300's the number.
If anything, you'd be better off putting that at the 295 or
And drive it up.
290.
Yeah,
and
put a
you were
9 in
gonna
there. It's like
have-
Price is Right, people. Didn't you ever watch
Yes.
Price is Right? How close can you get without going over? Come on now.
Right.
Come on down.
801. Right. If you bid 799, 801. Yeah,
Yes,
you get it.
yeah.
Right.
Put a 9 in front of it. We're
Yep.
okay.
Let's go there a little bit. What buyers are really asking for right now in today's marketplace? I loved all this conversation. Let's continue buyers and sellers talk. What are buyers most concerned about when you have a first-time home buyer? Is it the affordability? Is it the move-in ready house? Where are they at? What are you feeling?
Condition. They're
Condition, probably, yeah.
picky on condition now. They've got more options. They're getting pickier and pickier as far as like, I want more updates done. I want the house to be in better condition, where I feel like a handful of years ago, the market was tighter. We didn't have as much inventory, so they would almost take anything.
Yeah,
So,
I can redo the floors. You would hear from, I don't care about the carpet.
I can
I'll
do
just
that. I can
redo
do
them.
that. Now it's like, well, are they going to do this?
Like, what do you mean they didn't Windex the windows? I'm not buying this house.
A lot of first-time home buyers, as we know, Becky, getting in with down payment assistance and minimal down. You don't need the old myth of 20% down. I guess people still talk that way, but minimal down gets you into a house. You can go FHA at 3.5% down. Our VA buyers are still 0 down, and conventional loans at 3%. So it does leave you money to work with. If you don't have money, that's a whole different situation. You're asking for concessions. But again, in today's marketplace, these buyers, they have visions, and they should have a vision of what they're looking for. And those wants and needs list, they really have to be tightened up so they can make a good purchase.
So what are you guys doing right now? I know there's a lot of things that you can do from your end to kind of help play with these rates, like buy down points, or there's things that you can do to.
Yeah, I mean, there is, when it comes to, there's a time and place to pay money to lower an interest rate, okay? You know, there was like temporary buy downs where you pay a little bit extra, and you could do like but we'll say like in this market, be like a 4.875, then a 5.875, then a 6.875, right? So, but the market never really took on the temporary buy down. It was always more of a permanent buy down. So even when like people were talking about buy downs, it was always like, it was more so like, I'm going to pay a 0.5 point now, and then we're going to see what the market does, because ultimately it's a lot of money, and we know that we're in a market where eventually we're going to see these interest rates start to slide down. And in the reality of it too, I'm in alignment with Harry. A rate in the 6s is not a high interest rate. I also come from the early 2000s when I got in the business, and rates were in the 9s, 10s. And, you know, there's other people in the room that where the rates were exceeding that point. So we have a perspective that's different than the average consumer. So when we're looking at someone's financial profile, and we can see, let's just say the average rate right now with like, let's just say no points, we'll just throw it out there, 6.625. Let's just say that, right? We're not going to get into APRs. But if it's going to cost someone, they're buying a 300, and their loan amount is 300,000. If they pay 1 point, that's $3,000. And if that $3,000 only drops them from 6.625 to 6.5 or 6.49, and it's only going to change their payment by $30, $40, give or take, in my mind, that math doesn't math. It doesn't make sense. Now, if I can get them to a 6.6 or 6.49, it's $1,000 to, you know, let's just say $1,200, then I'll say, okay, then I'm going to run that play. But if they're not going to be in the house for a very long time, or we know that in the next 6, 8, 12 months, we might be in a situation where we could be in a different scenario with these interest rates, I'm going to advise them that I don't think it would be smart to pay the points for that lower interest
I
rate.
love that. I love that you're able to know that information to tell
Yes.
them, hey,
Yeah.
this isn't so smart doing it this
Stephanie,
way.
that's a perfect example. If somebody's going to give me $3,000 to save them $500 for the year, the break even is 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Why
Most
would
people
I
are
go
selling.
ahead and give somebody $3,000 so I could get back something that would take me my recoup time 6 years to do it? You wouldn't do it.
Right.
So often our philosophy is, and generally speaking, this is a general philosophy, is we don't like to take that money up front because the current value of your cash is worth more than the future value. What you can do with that money now, right? Put into the house, put in an investment vehicle, whatever you're going to do with it is worth more to you now than it is 6 years from now.
Right.
So again, it all depends. If there's seller concessions or they're going to pay it, they're going to pay the buy down. All these things go into it. But as a general rule, you have to figure out what your recoup time is. And also, if you believe right now, like we do, that these rates aren't that high, and we think that sooner or later, whether it's 18 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, we can go ahead and get you a better rate. Why are you going to give me money now? Because you're just wasting your money.
Yeah. So two different things. Because I want to finish this. I want to button up this topic because I just had this conversation with someone. Okay. So in a situation where a seller is giving you concessions towards your closing costs and we were like exceeding, we had money left on the table.
Yeah.
The conversation we had was, okay, since we have money left on the table, we can either use this money to buy down the lower interest rates, so we're not leaving anything on the table, or we can make the decision to go back to the seller and ask them to reduce the overall purchase price, and that would be a lesser principal balance. So we had a deep dive conversation on what scenario was that. Then another situation where we didn't have concessions, I said you were better off taking the additional $3,000 that we're talking about, putting like at the time of closing, and pay off this credit card right here. You're going to save more money over the long run paying off this credit card than we are going to save $50 a month on this current mortgage payment, because we know that we're not going to be in this mortgage for more than 2 years. And so those were exact conversations with two different people that I had about the situation, because that is a topic we talk about, because no one else knows what to talk about when it comes to mortgages, because the average consumer is just, what's your rate? What's your rate? What's your rate?
Yeah.
What's your rate? And we pull it apart and expand your mind as much as we possibly can to get you to see that the rate is a piece of the pie, not the whole entire pie.
So much more to it than just that.
Yes,
I'm
we're
glad
all
you-
about long-term setup.
You totally took those words out of my mouth. Yeah, right. What Becky's saying is most families that are getting a mortgage with us, they're going to have a $3,000 credit card, a $4,000 credit card. Take that money, that extra money, pay off that credit card. Make that $80 or $100 that interest you're paying every month, make it go away.
Yeah.
You better deal with the professionals. Again, that's what we're always sharing with you here on the radio, just some professional advice. Stick with us here, 248-539-9797. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Keep it here. Welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 26th year. Just sharing some free information. If you want to talk to us, that's free also. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. It's 1-800-569-7283. You can always look us up. We get you all set up with strong advice, confidence, approvals. Then we send you over to these great real estate agents like Stephanie Janiga and all the great agents that come on our show. And again, it's all free to get started, folks. I continue to urge, don't click buttons online. You're going to miss out on all the good
Don't give your credit card over the phone to anybody you don't know. How about that? How about that for just some life advice? Anybody calling you, asking you for a credit card, don't give it to them.
Okay. We're gonna jump on this real quick because I still need to. Okay, I need to understand, right? So if someone wants to call me, let me know. Okay. Why is it that people will give their credit card over the phone, but then here I am with a bona fide lead source where it's like they've been referred to me directly by a real estate agent. I call them and I'm like, okay, we're going to start the pre-approval process. I'm going to need to know your social security number, the things, and they will refuse it. But then they'll give their information to a random stranger that hasn't been screened. They don't know who they are. They're like, oh, you want me to save the children and wherever, here it is.
Just or yesterday, same
people, I get this call every week. They'll get a mass mailer from some lender that is 10 states over, and they'll pretend to be us because we did their loan, and it says we could drop your rate down to some stupid 2.99. First of all, no, they can't. Second of all, if you call the number, the first thing they're going to ask you is for your credit card. All right, but then when we go ahead and we qualify people, like you said, we need the pertinent information, and we do this for nothing, for free, zero.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're getting a hard time. People out there, don't talk to strangers.
But to that point,
I'm
like, what am I saying?
Strangers.
What are we saying? It's like, I know what it is. It's because we're so honest and real. Like, we're not in here trying to push someone for their information, right? So it's either you're going to give it to me or you're not. And so that's why I'm like, why am I struggling over I'm a real person? You know who I am.
Becky,
you just
they're on Instagram Reels.
Yes.
They see the cool shirt that Harvey had on a couple weeks ago that was too tight for him. So they're scrolling Reels, and then they see it, and then they go, I gotta have it. They click on it. It's from China. They're throwing in all their credit card numbers to some place that it doesn't even exist. And then what's delivered is a shirt that's 4 sizes too small for Harvey Free.
On the slow boat. On the slow boat that came 3 months after it was due.
So 3 weeks in it, I called American Express and I said, wait a minute here. I made a huge mistake. I've never ordered anything.
I made a huge mistake. I bought this shirt.
Complete strangers. I'll give them my credit card number. I thought I had to cancel it. I'll get a new credit card.
Yeah.
They finally came here, and my brother did. He's the recipient of the 2 of the 3 shirts. I'm still trying to squeeze myself into the
He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
One.
The wrinkles won't come out either. I just don't understand.
So people, we kind of make fun of this and have a little fun with it, but these are things that are happening every day to people, and all you have to do is call an elder law attorney, and they'll tell you that their clients are getting scammed out of tens of thousands of dollars because people are just scrolling and giving credit cards and actually transferring money to people. Don't do it, please. If you get something in the mail, if you get a text, the IRS doesn't make outbound calls, okay? They don't call you and say, hey, you're owed tax money. No, they'll send you letters in the mail. And even when you get them, call somebody and find out if it's legitimate. You've got to do yourself that favor. Please do not act on your own behalf, because the problem is that when you're your own client, there's an old saying, right? If you choose to represent yourself, you have a fool for a client. Right, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't get your team involved. Call people. Yeah.
Mortgages and real estate, 248-539-9797.
They show up in Mr. T's van. I pity the fool.
I pity that fool. Becoming more common, of course, is what we talked about at the beginning of the show is houses sitting on the marketplace. And then what it does is, as you mentioned, Steph, you might want to recognize that's probably now becoming more of a motivated seller. So that, why is it so important to price it right? Now you've got a price reduction. And now you've got buyers considering a negotiation because they know of this. Overpricing still hurts you. Again, just getting that house on the market at the right price could drive some excitement up. That's one of your keys to getting a house sold in today's market.
Yep. Yeah, overpricing it, you actually end up losing more money in the long run. You're going to make more by pricing it lower, letting the market will drive it up higher almost every time on its own.
And folks, and Steph, also with that, the point is these sellers, they might want to stay for 30 or 60 days. Like finding that motivation out of any house that you really like, finding out where the seller's motivation is. If the house has been on the marketplace, it's a stinker, it's got something obscure about it. Again, if it's got well and septic, And on the seller's disclosure, they're not disclosing the age of this equipment, if the septic has been pumped out recently.
Oh, I want to talk about
These
that.
are really expensive items. Years ago, this started. Harry knows, again, about 20 some years ago. We've been on the show for 20. We've been doing the show for 26 years. I'll say 26 years ago, we started talking about sewer line inspections. Well, guess what, folks? That's all anyone talks about.
So important.
And then
Okay.
well and septic. Go ahead, Beck.
Okay, so I
roll
want to
in
talk
with
about that. Okay, so we have a very high price point purchase right now, and we got the well and septic. The county passed it.
Okay.
County passed it. It's a conventional mortgage. However, it said pass, but for property transfer with the following recommendations. Okay. So one of the recommendations was the well was running, and they wanted it, and the drill inspector to go there and check it out. But then the other thing that said was there was high levels of arsenic in the water.
Oh boy!
And the only area in the property that had the water filtration system was the kitchen sink in the basement. Okay. So now we're in an underwriting situation, and obviously we as the majority investor, where it's a health and safety situation, and our underwriters reviewed it. And now they would prefer, and what we're recommending, and it's happening now, is for the same water filtration system to be put on the upstairs kitchen, because you have to understand, if you're even brushing your teeth, you're getting arsenic. If you
Showering.
Yes, showering, all the things, right? So like the bare minimum was it needs to be in the kitchen, because who is going to always go downstairs, get they're making mac and cheese, you're going downstairs, it's the only safe water source, because it's a very high level. But the listing agent pushed back. And they had, because like they said it's safe for transfer. I'm like, it says it's unsafe arsenic. I was like, so it's one thing for a county to say it's passed, but they're making very glaring bullet points of things that it's wrong with this water. And when you have a situation like this, where now, because real estate just wants it to close, and if it was their client, they're losing sight of the real issue.
So my question to Stephanie would be, in that situation, Stephanie, why wouldn't the listing realtor want that done for that property? I mean, why wouldn't they want it? It's so common sense. Like Becky said, you're going to go down the basement every time. And why would you want to buy a house that doesn't have that already done? I mean, this is a health and safety issue. It's a major issue. So all parties involved should be, whether you're the buyer or the seller, they all should be on the same level,
Yeah,
because
they should be.
common sense tells you, why would I want to list a property that has a health hazard? And why would I want to buy a property that has,
But
has a
what
health
the first
hazard?
thing out of their mouth was, how if we have to do this, how quickly can we still close, right? So it's like becoming like that.
Wrong.
Like they're losing sight of like the real issues
what's
here,
really going on with
really
it.
what's going on, because we can't, in good faith, not point that out to our client, because I don't think it actually was. I think it was actually, as soon as we saw it, we pointed it out. But then here it is. We're looking at it. We're like, by the way, are you aware of this? Now, the filtration system's $500.
That's all it costs.
What are we talking about? I was like,
Come on.
You can do a whole house
I
filtration
was going to
system
say
that takes care of it.
Reverse
Yeah.
osmosis.
Yes.
I'm not a water softener guy,
Yep.
whatever it is. But
Get you through that
But
term
yeah,
out
our
there.
buyer's agent is but our buyer's agent, obviously my buyer's agent and myself were going hard in the paint for our client to make sure it's done. And when the seller was like, no, I don't want to pay for it, our buyer's agent said, well, then I will. Because I can't, in good faith and good conscience, have my buyer buy this property and it go in there and then you forget. You're just living your life and maybe you forget, or whatever it is, right? So we have to make sure that, but this is something that comes up after the fact.
Was it on a disclosure anywhere? Was it in the home inspection?
They
Did
better put it
anybody
on
find
there.
Not on the
this out?
disclosures.
It was-
It's
no.
not. If it's not a listed item on the
It's not on the
disclosure,
disclosures.
trust me,
They don't
people
have-
don't
yeah.
put it
It's
out
not
there.
on the disclosures, but because it's well and septic, you have to have well and septic inspected,
Yeah,
right?
it's
And then
normal.
the city did pass it,
Yep.
but they made very glaring recommendations. And so when you make those recommendations, guess what? An underwriter's looking at those things.
Yeah.
Your eyes might glass past those little bullet points, but as the lender, we do not. And like these are things that come up in the purchase, in the purchase process that can be overwhelming and be frustrating in a moment. But if you can, like what Harry's saying, if you can't step back and look beyond yourself and your fake timeline that you want to put on, that your face is going to melt off if you're not closing on a Friday instead of a Monday, and just really kind of put the people in there, it really isn't a big deal.
Steph, I'm going to get your comments on that. I like where you went with it, Becky. If you're listing a house that has well and septic, sellers, folks, let's get all your statistics out, all your paperwork. Show me that you're getting it pumped. Show me the comments from your septic company. They usually maintain these. If it's an older system, hey, this is real life. Septic fields sometimes you can't even put one in. You might not even be able to put a new one in, or you might have to hook it up to the city sewer system, and that's not free. Usually $12,000 to $20,000. So again, we talk about home ownership as if it's this inexpensive thing to get into, which it is. It could also be very costly if you don't have the right people involved. So,
Yeah, it makes sense. It's super important to do a good inspection on the property, have a good realtor that's going to dig through those items with you, negotiate for you, and make sure that you're getting the right value for them.
All right, if you're well and septic out there, hey, it's okay. Waterford has community well out there. You can drink it, but it's not the city water. It's not Detroit City. Know what you're buying. Deal with real professionals out there. When we come back, I'll tell you a story. I called the real estate agent about that house down the street from me. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. It's a hardcore mortgage real estate business show. 8:45 on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Tiger baseball later today out there in San Francisco.
Need a win.
See Brendan out there.
But they can't win every game.
Yeah, Stoney told me they can't win every game.
Oh, good. I didn't see Stoney.
Yeah, Stoney's here. He told me they can't win every game.
Okay.
Come on. We need every game right now.
If you hire the great real estate agent like Stephanie
You'll
Janiga,
win
you
every
can win
game.
on your offer. You might not win the first offer, but we'll get you into a great house.
But overall,
Hit a home
you will-
run.
Yeah, you'll be like grand slam, clear the bases.
My good old friend Stephanie Janiga, who of course now lives down the street from me. I don't know. Maybe I
Yeah,
got you
close
excited about
by.
lake living. You're a Cooley Lake girl. I love it.
Yes.
Congratulations. I heard you might be engaged or something like that.
Yes,
I don't-
found a wonderful man. Got
All-
engaged recently. So.
There you go.
real local
Exciting.
girl. Deal with local agents who know all this. And again, we talk about things lightly, but when you do live on a lake or you live out just in our local area or Waterford, or if you're in White Lake or Lake Oak, whatever your area is, if you're in Houghton Lake or Higgins Lake, you got to know what's going on in the communities there. And I did it on property in the middle of the state. And sure enough, it was well and septic. Well, just called the people. I called the county. It was one phone call to the county. They have their own well and septic people that went out there, certified it, did all the testing, and it was easy as that. We were talking a lot off the air about things like this, well and septics, quality of the property, what FHA, health and safety, even on conventional loans, Becky, you can't have a house that has broken glass laying around or peeling paint. These are dangerous things. Lead in water. You mentioned arsenic. That's pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's and that's where sometimes it's not, I don't want to say inexperience, but it's just like you're blindsided by your own desires and what you're trying to control and not control. So when, conventional, just because a property comes back as is, if an appraiser makes note of broken glass or potential water in a space, that's going to automatically flag us to have to verify that is that mold, is it just standing water, and it's going to have to be remediated or removed, because at the same time, we are the majority investor, and our job is to not only protect the property and the loan, but also the person that's residing in it, because that's when lawsuits happen. So if it's a glaring thing on a appraisal report, we have to say something about that, because there's so much regulation on the lending side. There's a big giant boot on our neck, and we have to do everything above board because that's who we are as people. Now, there are some people that might turn a blind eye, but you're not going to get that over here. And that's also why we're called the Hardcore Mortgage Show. So there's, you have to know that you're taking everything with a grain of salt or with stride, but just know that you're with the right people that are going to get you through it. It's not life or death, right? It's we're not losing lives over this, but it feels like it because it's so emotional for so many people.
Well, you bring up that subject, and we don't look the other way on things. And I'll hear this all the time in the market, and I know you two have been read over this in the last few weeks to a month. Well, there's other lenders that will do certain things that you guys won't do. Yeah, they might go ahead and turn their cheek onto a health and safety issue. We won't do that. They might not cite something in an appraisal that we're going to cite. We're not going to do that. They might skip over a process just to get something through that maybe shouldn't be done the proper way. We're not going to do it. All right?
In the long run, you're protecting them.
So if people can't realize that we are acting on their best behalf and they just want that property and they just want to get in, well, my feeling is it's on them. It's on them. If you want to go somewhere else that they're going to turn a blind eye to certain things, I don't have a problem with it. Go ahead. But we're not going to do it. And I know I have two people sitting in this room, Stephanie, that had situations like that within the last 30 days. And I get yelled at for it. But you know what? By the same token, we'll get calls from a lot of clients over the last now 30 some years that say, you know what? I went to this lender and they didn't act right. I didn't feel right. What do you guys think? Now, when you ask that dangerous question to us, we're going to tell you what we think. And then we gain the confidence and we'll get the clients in multiples back. But we're not turning a blind eye to things that we don't feel are right. And we will advise you. And if the client says, hey, you know what, I'll skip you guys and I'm going to go to a different lender, go ahead. Go ahead. If you want to go and do business with that lender, go ahead. But we're not doing it.
You miss out on the great information.
We talk, off air, Stephanie and I were talking it's that whack-a-mole is what Harry always says, but eventually, if you talk to enough people, someone is going to tell you what you want to hear. And if you want to surround yourself with a bunch of yes people, then you can do that, and you're going to probably have really bad behavior in your life. Yeah. Or you can surround yourself people with that are almost like a counsel for you, where they're going to say, hey, you know what? You're not really being your best self right now. I don't really think this is the best choice for you. I don't really think that this is the best vehicle to get you in a house, but if we did XYZ to set you up and maybe it takes us another 30 days, this is going to, put you in a better position, right? You need to be around people and advisors that are going to tell you what you need to hear so you can, we're achieving that betterment of you as a person, your financial goals, building your real estate portfolio, whatever that is. We're here to help you, whatever that looks like.
All right, some fun stuff here on the real estate side. Renovations that actually pay off. Again,
love this
I'm
part.
Outside. I'm always in the yard. My thing is the garden and making sure my grass is looking pretty green without watering too much here. Definitely need some rain this summer. But what other improvements are folks looking for out there, Steph? You've got some expertise in this. Great consumer conversation is, what are they really looking for in today's marketplace? Curb appeal, what does that mean? What are we looking at?
I'm going to say updates go a long ways right now. Yes, okay, everybody wants a good solid house where you've got the new furnace, the new AC, the roof and everything done. But really what's catching the buyer's eyes, that updated kitchen, the updated bathroom, open floor plan, fresh modern colors. That's what's catching them. And then it's not until you get into the home inspection that you're like, oh, wait, I wanted the roof to be good and the AC to be good and the foundation too. I forgot about all that.
Yeah. There's bones, right? There's good bones, and then there's a cosmetic.
It's not just the pretty kitchen.
But the kitchen matters because if you ever got an estimate on an updated kitchen, you're like, okay, I'd rather someone else do it than me do it, and that's cool.
So I love that. I love she hit the nail on the head. Kitchen, bathroom, fresh paint,
Yes.
everything like that. But so Harvey and I had an interesting discussion. But Harvey said to me, but the guy put in a cement driveway and new brick pavers. I said, Harvey, but that's not going to add value.
Not
Aesthetically,
sexy.
that looks
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
and all that. But the great cement driveway and the brick pavers they put in doesn't compare to the kitchen, bathroom, fresh paint, open floor plan.
That's like opening up in a trench coat and being like, I got a real nice hairdryer too, check it out, trying to sell something on the street. You know what I mean?
That's a bad visual.
So everybody out there are things that make the house look better, and there are things that add real value.
Gotcha.
To the
So
house.
let's go there, Harry. So garage doors do add value. Having
Yes, they
them
do.
nice, that's really pretty.
Front
Entry
doors and garage
They
doors.
say
Door,
front
yeah.
door is like
Really
one
important.
of the, yep.
Yeah.
Exterior improvements. Again, you get that curb appeal
Curb
when you
appeal
come in.
makes a big difference.
And there's no doubt a new roof is value. So if you put on your seller's disclosure and it's a new roof, you're going to get the buyers that show up and say, wait a minute, this house has some, like you said, you want those more expensive items already handled, and including the well and septic, as we were talking about earlier. So we've got the roof. We've got these concrete driveways. I mean, put a new driveway and it could be $10,000 or $12,000 here.
It can be.
It looks better than the old crumbled one,
Yeah, but
it might not add a ton of value.
not
So
gonna add
that's
value
one of
on
the
the
things I would say,
appraisal.
skip it. Don't do the driveway right now.
Let
Or I have
them
people that
redo it.
want to
Okay.
spend $50,000 on windows, and I'm like, no, I would just go paint. Paint this really
Okay.
ugly color that's going throughout the house right now. Skip the windows. You're not going to get the 40 or 50 grand back right now.
No, not
in the
now.
sale
Because paint
price.
is okay. Because paint isn't expensive, but it's expansive, right? It's going to totally expand what the space looks like. It's going to make it look more regal in some situations. It's going to make it look where it's more kept and just well maintained, right? And also could get rid of some unnecessary odors too, right? Fresh paint goes a long way, and we've had a lot of appraisers on air that said like sometimes like the updating certain things don't go as far as fresh paint because it just changes everything about the cosmetically what it looks like.
Well, you've got these guys that are flipping houses, and a great little flip is when you can go in and just put paint, carpeting, couple light fixtures, and bam, you're done.
You know, it's
That's
funny,
not a
Stephanie.
huge upgrade, but it changes the entire look of the house.
You know,
It's like
back in the-
Neo. It changes everything.
You know,
Plenty
back
of
in the
people made that
day,
mistake,
in the day, it used to be that people were looking for, past. They had a vision for the house, and it didn't matter what the house looked like, right? So they would go in and they would buy it and do it their own way. Now it seems like, and you touched upon it earlier in the show, that people want turnkey. They want to walk in, turn the key, say, here it is, and not do anything to the house. When back in the day, it used to be, hey, beautiful, this green and brown carpeting and the brown walls and everything.
Sweat
I can
equity.
paint I can do this myself, and maybe I can get a little better deal on the price. It doesn't seem like that's still happening now.
No, I'm not seeing that. The buyers are not out there wanting to put the work in or the sweat equity or fixing it up on their own. A couple
Well,
of these investor people, but yeah, they want it moving ready, and
It's the
all
Oompa
updated.
Loompa syndrome, right? They want like I want an Oompa Loompa and I want it right now. It's
Yeah.
like a little bit of like
I want my G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip.
yeah, that's what they want. Whereas like, and you can get, if you want to buy, we'll call it like, I don't want to say grandma's house because I love my grandma, but like the wood paneling, like you can like do the things to the
yeah.
property and, get, put more in it, but like put more money into it, get it at cheaper price. But you're right. Like, I don't know how to do a lot of those things personally, so I'm going to hire that out. And sometimes, like, hiring it out is a little bit more expensive. So knowing that my entire house has been renovated from top to bottom.
Peace of mind.
Yeah. So if I know what the cost of that is, and if I could step into another house that was already ready, so I understand that perspective, because I also have a pool in my backyard. I will never probably put another pool in another property in my entire life because that was just crazy. I know what's funny is my contractor, they got into pools just because of my experience, right? So now I have people that I could go to, so I might, like reconsider that decision because through my process, other people that I trust and love got into the process of, they do pools now, but I digress there. But like I renovated my house in 2020. The cost of that completely changed now, right? You can't even like get anything for under $20, $30, $40,000. So I understand why people want to go in for the turnkey. I do get that. But if you can do it yourself, do it.
I wonder if it has to do a little bit too of like the age of the first time home buyer now. I couldn't believe this. I heard recently the average age of the first time home buyer. What would you guess it is right now?
Well, now it's like 30, like it's going to be 30, 30, yeah.
Yeah.
38
yeah.
years
Yep.
old.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like
37,
that's
it's
mind-blowing
38 to 43 is the new first time buyer bracket for sure. Like, and because they waited longer, they saved the money and now they're buying at a higher price point.
All right, you guys been listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Be sure to call us at Capital. You can look us up. You can email us. We'll get back with you right away. It's consumer education, local market insight, mortgage expertise. Hey, we're here to always help you.
And shout out to all of our Facebook viewers. We're watching you. You're watching us, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Who said I look muscular in that
My
shirt?
mom. We got Michelle
I like your
Saylor. We got
mom.
the
we had that
Wheelers.
baby
We got
shirt
Jimmy
on.
Nelson.
We had that baby shirt. You
All right,
know?
for Stephanie Janiga over at Keller Williams, Becky Ellie, Harry Glantz, I'm Harvey Freed. See you next Saturday.
Thank you.